What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for another episode of the Weekend Best Bets. Now, I'm not live streaming this because at the time you're watching this, I'm probably on a train, so I cannot be live to make this video. But I'm still going to go through all of my tips for the top leagues, as well as a treble for all of the top 5, just like I do every single week. So make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and hype the video down below. As this is the last video that I upload in the week, this is the video that you can hype, because YouTube only lets you hype the most recent upload. So it'd mean a lot if you could hype the video. I'd really appreciate that. If you didn't hear the news in yesterday's video, I am now running regular monthly $100 giveaways over on Patreon. So click the top link in the description to get exclusive members tips and accumulators, access to the group chat, my league and predictions, all that good stuff, and of course a shout out in every single video. So if you miss the regular live show, what I normally do on Fridays is I'll go live from 4 to 6 p.m. between those times and go through all of the top leagues. I have today 90 different tips / accumulators for the top 13 leagues. And last week we absolutely smashed it, by the way. I gave out 5 tips from the Portuguese league at odds of about 12 to 1. They all came in. And 6 tips from the Switzerland Super League that all came in at 12 to 1 as well as other winning accumulators from the top leagues. Like I said, I give out trebles too. So obviously this includes the top 5 leagues, Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, that I make videos on as well. So I'm including some of the picks from there too. And then we've got a bunch of other leagues, and there's always a lot of value to be had in there. So we are going to start off with the Premier League because it is the biggest league. And if you don't watch the live shows or the videos, what I will do is I will get every single tip, and I'll show it as an accumulator, because that's the best way to show all the tips. But generally speaking, I wouldn't advise backing them all as an Accas, because that's just absolutely mental. We have had it in the past where all the Premier League tips came in. It was 25 to 1, and I even said specifically in that video that I liked all of them together. Like I said, we had Portugal, Switzerland, we've had Serbia, Greece, all of the tips come in at once. But unless specified otherwise, these are generally speaking singles. So with that being said, leave your favorite picks down below in the comments, drop a like, and let's get started. I'm not going to go too in depth with the top league games because, like I said, that's what the videos that are up on the channel are for. So Wolves, Aston Villa, straight away, Villa win. Liverpool to beat West Ham, Newcastle to beat Everton, Man City to beat Leeds. Fulham, I do like Fulham to beat Tottenham a lot, but I've changed the tip for this stream. Man United to beat Crystal Palace, and Arsenal to beat Chelsea. Now, if we move to the both teams to score market, I have Bournemouth, Sunderland, both teams to score, and Fulham, Tottenham, both teams to score. So I absolutely could see Fulham to win and both teams to score. I could also see Bournemouth win and both teams to score. I could even see Aston Villa win and both teams to score. Burnley and Brentford, I don't mind both teams to score either, but I'm leaving that one out. Similarly, I also don't mind Liverpool, West Ham, both teams to score, but I'm staying with the result. I have got Man City to beat Leeds, as I said, but another one that I do really like is Manchester City and both teams to score at odds of 3. Arsenal and Chelsea, I like for both teams to score as well, but for the purpose of this single, I've gone with Arsenal to win. So this is what I mean when I say I'm showing you all of them as an Accas. I'm not recommending you back this unless you go mental. You just chuck a quid on it, you get over £100 back with the bonus. But honestly, I wouldn't recommend that. These are all singles that can be used to boost up your accumulators. I'll stop repeating that now that I've said it many times. So these are the tips. I'll just scroll through really quickly. And now for the treble, I'll take all of these off. It is a Premier League winners treble. I think Aston Villa to win away against Wolves is really good value, 1.9. I like that a lot. And then Newcastle to win at St. James's Park at 3 o'clock. I just don't think Everton stack up away from home against Newcastle. And Man City, not both teams to score necessarily, but Man City to win away from home. This looks like the time of year, the time of a title race where whether it's the traditional old school Man City from a few years ago that were just dominant, or even this sort of new gen rebuild Man City, it looks like they're just going to win every game. So I'm going for it. That is the treble. So this I am recommending as a potential accumulator, the Premier League winners treble. Villa, Newcastle, Manchester City. Now it is time to move on to La Liga. I'll go with the results first, of which there are just a couple. Atletico Madrid to win against Real Oviedo. They, of course, won in the Champions League. They battered Club Brugge. As expected, we did say Atletico Madrid to win and both teams to score. Even in the video, I said Atletico Madrid and both teams to score. The other win, Real Betis to beat Sevilla. Sevilla are massively disappointing this season, and I think Real Betis can get the win. After this, Levante Sidi Alaves tonight, at the time of watching this, under 2.5 goals. There were also a couple of Ukrainian games I wanted to include in this video, but it goes up on 6 p.m. on Friday. So Dynamo Kiev and Shakhtar Donetsk would have already played. So I can't include those two games, unfortunately. But still, under 2.5 goals there. I've got both teams to score between Rayo Vallecano and Athletic Club. Barcelona to win and both teams to score in that incredible matchup against Villarreal. Then I've got Real Sociedad double chance against Mallorca because they're almost outsiders and I make Real Sociedad quite a bit better than Mallorca. And finally, Real Madrid -1 handicap at 1.83. So these are the La Liga tips. My favourite of them being probably Atletico Madrid to win. I like Real Madrid -1 as well, and therefore they are going to be some of my picks. So I'm going to take off that, and that. And the other one, I am going to Barcelona, Villarreal, and I'm going for BTTS and over 2.5 goals. So there is the treble there. Yeah, I've got that 150%. I'll zoom back in just a second. There's the treble for La Liga. I think there's pretty damn good odds, and I expect Real Madrid to win quite comfortably there. I think Villarreal should be able to score against Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid to win against Oviedo. I think that's really good value. Even though Oviedo aren't playing super bad lately, I still just think that's very good. Now we move on to Italy for Serie A, and we are kicking it off with Como to beat Lecce, Napoli to beat Verona, Inter Milan to beat Genoa. I thought about Inter Milan and both teams to score because, as I always say, Inter Milan are good for a goal. But obviously now, Inter Milan, they've officially been knocked out of the Champions League by Bodo Glimt. So it'll be all eyes on Serie A. They're 10 points clear. I think they'll coast to the title, and a win here will help that. AC Milan, a rematch up against Cremonese, a matchup which saw AC Milan lose their first game of the season back at the start of the year. I'm going for AC Milan to get revenge and get the win. After that, I've got Bologna to beat Pisa away from home, and then both teams to score picks, those being Sassuolo and Atalanta, and Udinese and Fiorentina at odds of 1.75. Now, honestly, I don't actually hate this as a 25-1 Acca. I'm going to be honest, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, where does it fall short? I know Bologna-Pisa, the odds suggest that it falls short there, but I really like that. A cheeky little 1-0, 2-0 to Bologna. Maybe both teams to score Udinese-Fiorentina is where it falls apart, but I do like it a lot. So the treble is going to be these three. Como to win, Napoli to win, and BTTS, Sassuolo, Atalanta. I think those are really, really good picks, so that is what I'm going with. Now we move to Germany, where we have some exciting fixtures. We've got Augsburg, Köln, both teams to score. Werder Bremen, Heidenheim, both teams to score. Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, BTTS, and over 2.5 goals at 1.53 in Der Klassiker. And then I believe we've got some other results here. Bayer Leverkusen, TSG Hoffenheim, Stuttgart against Wolfsburg. Don't let me down, Stuttgart. They are, of course, by the time you've watched this video, they would have played Celtic in the Europa League, and I've assumed they've knocked them out. And RB Leipzig to win away at Hamburg. I know Leipzig are a bit of a tricky team sometimes on many people's no bet list, but I just think the odds are too good to pass up. So those are my 3 picks there. And then if we look at I say 3 picks. Those are my 7 picks there. Then for my 3 picks, we have got Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich BTTS and over, and then Hoffenheim and Bayer Leverkusen to win as well. The odds are 3.83. So now we move on to France. Like I said, if you want every single score prediction and tip for every game in France, that is also available over on Patreon if you use the description. But Strasbourg and Lens, both teams to score. After this, Marseille and Lyon, both teams to score. So it's a result sandwich. Both teams to score is the bread. Lyon lost their first game. They dropped points for the first time in nearly 3 months in a game against Strasbourg last week, with both teams scoring. And now the results. Rennes to beat Toulouse. I think the odds are really good at 2.15 for a stronger home side. Monaco to win. They're decent and they are at home. I get that. PSG to win against Le Havre, 1.28, but ultimately you could go for PSG and over 2.5 goals if you like. Lille to beat Nantes and Brest to beat Metz. Metz are not very good. Brest are okay. 2.2 odds, not too shabby. Now for the treble, I'm not including PSG because the odds are too low. Lille, similarly, the odds are too low. Brest, not as confident as my other picks. Monaco is staying. Rennes is staying. And then it was a choice between these two, both teams to score picks. I've decided to get it out the way early and go with Strasbourg up against Lens. Sometimes with Marseille, you never know what you're going to get. So that is my treble for Ligue 1. Now we go to the Eredivisie. Let me close all of these and there we go, right here. So the results I've got Ajax to beat Zwolle. I think the odds are decent, and I know why, because Ajax could, trust me, Ajax could definitely lose this game. PSV -1 against Heracles, I think is very, very likely to happen, and the odds there are 1.72. And then we've got the both teams to score market. Unfortunately, there has to be a bit of scrolling to get back down. Heerenveen Sparta Rotterdam, I've actually got for BTTS and over 2.5 goals at 1.83. That boosts up the odds quite a lot. And then we go back to the other fixtures. Twente Feyenoord, both teams to score. Volendam and Groningen, both teams to score as well. And I think there might be one more. Yes, Utrecht and AZ Alkmaar is right there. So those are the picks for the Eredivisie. If at any point you want to pause the video, screenshot, you can just do that. But obviously I've got a lot of tips to go through. After this, it is Portugal, which, like I said, last time out we offered 5 tips. And they all came in at odds of 12-1. So very good stuff. We're going to start with, got to go all the way up to get the result market and then scroll all the way back down. That's Turkey, that's MLS, to Portugal right here. I've got Estrela to win away at AVS, 2.55, very good odds. Braga to win, Guimarães to win. I like Famalicão to win as well. And I like Benfica to win because the odds are already quite decent at 1.53. The other two, I've got Sporting win to nil at 2.25. We had that at evens last week. And finally, Porto win to nil. We had that last week at similar odds, 1.66. So these are the singles for the Portuguese Premier League. Some higher odds here, actually. I think if you take any of these 3, maybe except that one, is a little bit risky, like you look at those odds. But any 3 of these 6, I think you'd be looking pretty good for a Portuguese treble there. Now we're going to move on to Austria. So we'll go back Europe, and we are here with the Austria Bundesliga. Kicking off with a Salzburg win. Rapid Wien double chance. Where are you, Rapid Wien? Am I blind? No, you're right there. We're going to wait for that to load and go Rapid Wien double chance. And then both teams to score for a couple of games in the Austria Bundesliga. It is Austria Wien and Lask, both teams to score, and Wolfsberger, Sturm Graz, both teams to score. Wouldn't put you off this as an accumulator, but those are the singles, which can be used, of course, to boost up odds and picks and everything like that. After this, we move on to Belgium, kicking off with a win for Standard Liège against La Louvière. I think that's a pretty good matchup for them. After that, we have Anderlecht to win, Genk to win in the Genk-Ghent derby. I mean, back in the day, a few years ago, this was a lot more evenly matched, but ultimately I just think Genk are better. Union Saint-Gilloise, Club Brugge, and Cercle Brugge as well. Cercle Brugge games are usually pretty good for both teams to score, but Dender are just really quite poor, so I'm going for the outright win there. Also, in the Antwerp-St. Truden's game, I'm going for both teams to score. So there we go. I really like the Belgian picks this week. So, yeah, take a look. Take it all in. Take which one you like. And we're going to move on now to Denmark, where there's always a butt ton of value. Denmark Superliga, we've got, I believe, 4 winners and both teams to score. It is Copenhagen, Silkeborg, Midtjylland, Aarhus, and then Viborg Nordjylland. I'm going for both teams to score. I think they're all really interesting picks. I like Silkeborg. If you want to go draw no bet, completely understand it, or even double chance, because the odds are really good. But Copenhagen and Midtjylland at home are strong and should win, and Nordjylland are a good team. Viborg are a good team, so I think both teams to score is a very good pick there. So take a look. Like I said, take what you like and run with it. After this, the Greek Super League right here. We're going with it's 2 winners and 2 wins to nil. And the winners are going to be AEK Athens and Panathinaikos. And I'm sure you've guessed the wins to nil. It won last week. It's likely to win again because they're just such a good team. It is Olympiakos win to nil, but also PAOK Salonika win to nil. If you fancy that as a potential fourfold, I would not put you off it in the slightest. We now move on to Serbia, which has been one of the leagues where I got the most 100% over the weekends, typically because I'd normally do sort of 3 or 4 picks, but yeah, there's 5 picks today. I've got Novi Pazar to win, Vojvodina draw no bet, I believe, a Kukuriki as well to win. We'll go double chance, actually. I think that's what that says. And then Partizan Belgrade to win and Crvena Zvezda to win and over 2.5 goals. So yeah, I like that a lot. I think if you wanted to make a Serbian treble, I would probably just those are the singles, by the way. I'd take out these 3.21. I think that's really good. You've got a double chance on side there just a few extra goals for Crvena Zvezda, which seems to happen all the time. I like that a lot. We move on now to the Swiss Super League. So let's scroll right down here. Here we go. I've got Turn to win, St. Gallen to win, and over 2.5 goals. I thought about both teams to score, but I've left it alone. Also, 5 of the 6 winners from the Swiss Super League last week were all both teams to score picks. I've got Young Boys to beat Zurich, and the rest, it is both teams to score. Servette, Lausanne, and Grasshoppers, all both teams to score. Wouldn't even put you off doing that as an ACCA. We've had good luck with the Swiss Super League. Obviously, you should really take a few off. If I had to pick to take a few off, I would probably take off that one, and that one to go for a treble, 3.83. But I like them all, so that's what we're going with. Now, the final league. Obviously, at this point in the live show, I would then open it up to the chat. We'd talk about maybe Friday night fixtures. We'd talk about different accumulators people might be wanting. But as I'm not here, I sadly cannot do that. But, you know, it is what it is. We are going to the Turkish Super League. We're kicking off with a win for Istanbul Başakşehir and Trabzonspor. Just realised these are both kicking off at 5 p.m. So if on the odd chance you're watching this at 6 p.m. and there's still a potential in play there, then go for it. But I'm going to, as that's the time, I'm going to respectfully withdraw those picks from this video, because what good does that do for you when the game's already kicked off? And hey, if it didn't happen, you've dodged a bullet. Besiktas double chance and under 3.5 goals looks like a really nice odds pick. I know they have some higher scoring games, but I'm just keeping it on the lower scoring end because they're away from home. Galatasaray to win and over 2.5 goals. Let's have a little look here. Over 2.5 goals. And then we've got 3 other winners. Göztepe, Fenerbahce, and Samsunspor. Fenerbahce obviously conceding a 101st minute goal to 10-man Kasim Pasa. We did have both teams to score in that game at odds of even, so it worked out for me. But crazy loss when they're going for the title in Turkey. So those are my picks, because I can't include Başakşehir or Trabzonspor for this video. But that is going to do it for what would have been my weekend live show. Like I said, I am traveling, so I won't be home to be live at the specified time, but I can still schedule a YouTube upload. So if you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like, subscribe, and hype the video. Leave your predictions, your favorite tips from this video in the comments below. Check out the Patreon real quick. Flashing up on the screen are everyone that is supporting me over there, because obviously you get a shout out in every single video, and when it's not live, I can edit it in afterwards. You also get exclusive members tips and accumulators, access to the group chats, direct messaging to me, every single league and prediction for the rest of the season, and you get entered into the monthly $100 giveaways as long as you are a member. So thank you so much for the support, not only over there on the Patreon, but also over here on YouTube. We're closing in on 60,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.